You ever notice how the people who grind the hardest are the ones who don't need to be told to do it? They don't need a pat on the back. They don't need a reminder. They don't need a cheerleader. Why? Because they've seen something. They've caught a glimpse of what their life could look like if they gave everything they had. And once you see it, once that vision hits you deep, I mean deep in your soul, you can't unsee it. That's when the grind becomes different. It's not just about working hard. It's about chasing something that's calling your name. See, the reason most people quit is not because they're weak, not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have opportunity. It's because they never took time to see what they were chasing. They're grinding for a paycheck, grinding for some likes, grinding for applause. And let me tell you, that kind of grind won't last. That kind of grind burns out quick because there's no purpose behind it. But when your grind is connected to vision, real, unshakable, unbreakable vision, that's when the game changes. You can't grind harder until you get real about what you're grinding for. I'm not talking about vague goals. I'm not talking about I just want to be successful. I want to make it big. Not talking about that raw, specific, detailed vision. I'm talking about the kind of vision that wakes you up in the middle of the night. The kind that pulls you out of bed before the alarm. The kind that makes people think you're crazy because you're working like your life depends on it, and in your mind it does. And listen to me, vision isn't the finish line, it's the fuel. You don't grind because you're already there. You grind because you've seen what there looks like, and you're obsessed with becoming the version of you that lives in that space. The version of you that walks into a room and commands it. The version that doesn't just survive but leads. The version that doesn't chase success, you attract it because you become someone who deserves it. But that only happens when the vision is clear, when it's written on your heart, when it's not just an idea in your head, but a conviction in your bones. Because when the vision gets that real, you start making different decisions. You start surrounding yourself with different people. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop giving energy to things that don't feed your future. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start creating momentum with whatever you've got. That's why you've got to go deeper than the surface. That's why you can't just grind casually. You can't just go through the motions and expect transformation. You've got to lock in. You've got to train your mind to be focused on what you see, not what you're currently living through. Because what you see, that future, that calling, that purpose, that's what gives the grind its meaning. I remember times I didn't have nothing. Nobody knew my name. I was broke, sleeping on floors, eating out of cans. And you know what kept me grinding? Not a check, not a job, not a degree, vision. I saw myself speaking to thousands. I saw lives changing because of my words. I saw my family living free. And every single time life hit me, I went back to that vision. I kept telling myself, you're not there yet, but you will be. Just keep grinding. And some of why I'll keep quitting because you don't have that anchor. The moment it gets hard, you fold. The moment people stop clapping, you slow down. But when vision is the foundation of your grind, you don't care if people clap or criticize. You don't care if they see you or sleep on you. You're not grinding for them. You're grinding for the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this pain. That's why you've got to sit with yourself and get clear. What do you really want? What do you see? Not what the world told you to chase. Not what looks good on Instagram. What burns inside of you? What wakes you up and won't let you sleep? What are you willing to suffer for, sacrifice for, bleed for? Because here's the truth. If your grind isn't connected to something bigger than your current circumstances, it won't survive the storm. Life is going to test you. Pressure is going to hit. People are going to doubt you. And if you don't have vision, you'll start to believe them. But if you've seen it, if you've really seen it, you'll walk through fire for it. You'll show up broken, you'll show up tired, but you'll still show up. So the question isn't, are you grinding? The question is, why are you grinding? What's driving you? What's pushing you? What's the picture in your mind that's worth the sleepless nights and the early mornings? Because when that picture is clear, when your vision is locked in, the grind won't feel like a burden. It'll feel like your duty, like your destiny. Stop grinding just to stay busy. Stop grinding just to prove something to people who don't even matter. Grind because there's something in you that the world hasn't seen yet. Grind because you're building something eternal. Grind because a version of you waiting and they don't show up unless you go through this season right here. Grind harder because your vision deserves. Everybody loves the idea of the grind when it's fresh, when it's new, when the playlist is ripe and the energy's high. You just watched that motivational video, you just heard a powerful message, and now you're fired up. You're saying, I'm about to go get it. I'm locked in, but hear me, that fire, that emotion, that feeling, it don't last. That's motivation. And motivation is loud, but it's temporary. Discipline. Discipline is quiet, but it stays. Discipline is what shows up when motivation walks out. Some days you're not going to feel it. You're not going to want to get up. You're not going to want to train. You're not going to want to study. You're not going to want to show up. And that's exactly when you find out what you're really made of. That's when the truth comes out. Because anybody can grind when they feel good. Anybody can post a quote, put in the reps, and act hungry when the vibe is right. But what happens when there's no vibe? What happens when the music stops, the emotions fade, and it's just you in the mirror? That's when discipline takes over. That's when consistency starts doing the work that motivation abandoned. See, you keep waiting for something to hype you up again, but you don't need hype, you need a habit. You need a rhythm. You need a system in place that doesn't ask how you feel, it just moves. That alarm goes off, you move. That task shows up, you move. Not because you're inspired, but because you made a decision a long time ago that this is who you are now. Discipline says, I made a commitment, I don't care how I feel right now. Discipline says, I showed up yesterday, I'll show up today, and I'll show up tomorrow. Discipline is that voice that whispers, let's go, when the rest of your body is screaming, not today. And let me tell you something, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who's mastered discipline. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the one who wakes up and does the work regardless. You want to grind harder? Then kill the mindset that says you need to feel like it to do it. You think a lion checks the weather before it hunts? You think a soldier waits to feel inspired before they train? Nah, they operate by discipline. And discipline isn't sexy, it's not pretty. It's doing the boring stuff over and over until you become so sharp, so focused, so dangerous that the world can't ignore you anymore. And here's the truth. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. That dream you've got, that level you're trying to reach, that version of you that you keep picturing in your mind, it doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care that your friends are out partying. It doesn't care that you're not in the mood. It only responds to discipline, only shows up when you put in the work, not sometimes. Not when you feel great, but every single day. And I know it's hard. I'm not up here telling you this is easy. I've had days where I was so tired I couldn't think straight. Days where my body was sore, where my mind was heavy, where I felt like nobody was listening, nobody was watching, nobody cared. But I still showed up. Not because I felt like it, but because I trained myself to do it. Because I wasn't chasing a mood, I was chasing mastery. Mastery doesn't come with hype. Mastery comes through habits. And some of you keep starting and stopping because you're letting your emotions drive the vehicle. You're making emotional decisions in strategic seasons. You're giving up in week 3 of a 10-year process. You're quitting the reps because it didn't feel good today. But the ones who make it, the ones who break through, they don't give their feelings permission to dictate their grind. They lead their feelings. They teach their body, their mind, their spirit. This is who we are now. This is what we do. And when you tap into that, when discipline becomes your default, you'll start separating yourself. You'll start seeing results that other people don't see. Why? Because they stopped when it got uncomfortable. You kept going. They waited to be inspired. You executed anyway. They posted quotes. You lived the lifestyle. That's the difference. That's what grind harder really means. It means don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't negotiate with excuses. It means you show up tired. You show up anxious. You show up unsure. But you show up. Look, you've got dreams too big for small habits. You've got a calling too heavy for weak routines. And if you keep treating this like a hobby, it'll never become your lifestyle. You can't tiptoe into greatness. You got to dive in, and discipline is the deep end. So yeah, motivation is cute. It's loud. It's hype. It feels good. But it can't carry you. When the lights go out, when the pressure's high, when nobody's clapping, discipline carries you. And if you want to grind harder, if you really want to take this thing to another level, then you've got to stop asking your feelings for permission. You've got to look in the mirror and say, from this day forward, I do what I said I do. Not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Not when it's convenient, but especially when it's inconvenient. Because I'm not grinding for a moment, I'm grinding for a legacy. Grind harder because your discipline determines your destiny. That you say you want to grind harder, cool. But let me ask you something. What are you going to do when it starts to hurt? What are you going to do when you feel like quitting, when everything in you is screaming to stop? Because if you think the grind is supposed to feel good all the time, you've already lost. If you think chasing your dream is supposed to come with comfort and ease, you've been lied to. The grind will hurt you. The process will push you past your limits, and the pain you feel, that pain is proof. It's proof that you're in the process. So you can't ask for growth and expect convenience. You can't pray for strength and expect it to come in the form of peace. Not strength is built in struggle. Growth is forged in fire. Purpose is born in pressure. You say you want to be great, then understand greatness demands demand. Not the kind of pain that breaks you down, but the kind that breaks you open. The kind that wakes you up to who you really are. Because pain don't lie. Pain don't sugarcoat. Pain don't flatter you. It tells you straight up you're being stretched, you're being shaped, and if you stay in it, you're about to level up. But most people run from pain. They feel the heat and they back off. They feel resistance and they fold. You know why? Because they haven't accepted the truth that pain is part of the process. They think pain means they're doing something wrong. But it's the opposite. Pain means you're doing something right. It means you're getting uncomfortable. It means you're pressing into new territory. And that's exactly where growth begins. So let me tell you this, stop resenting the pain and start respecting it. Stop praying it away and start asking what it's trying to teach you. Because pain is not your enemy, it's your evidence. It's your confirmation that you're in motion, that you're not stuck, that you're not settling. And if you can push through it, if you can endure it, there's a reward on the other side that's bigger than the pain ever was. But here's the catch, you don't get to skip this part. You don't get to grind hard without being broken a little. You don't get to carry the crown if you're not willing to carry the cross. That's the price. You got to bleed. You got to cry. You got to fight through stuff nobody sees. And I know you're tired. You're frustrated. You're asking, why is it taking so long? Why is it so hard? But let me flip that on you. What if it's hard because it's worth it? What if the pain is building capacity in you? What if it's preparing you to handle what you ask for? You can't carry the weight of your calling with soft hands. You can't walk into your destiny on weak knees. You've got to be tried. You've got to be tested. You've got to go through it, not around it, not above it, through it. And when you come out on the other side, you won't just have a blessing, you'll have backbone. You'll be built for it. You want to grind harder? Then stop running from the discomfort. Embrace it. Because that pressure, that fire, that pain, it's refining you. It's exposing what's weak and strengthening what's strong. And listen to me, pain will show you who you are. When everything's smooth, everybody looks good. But let the storm hit, let the pressure rise. That's when you find out who's real. That's when you find out what's inside. I've been through it. I've had nights where I felt like I couldn't take another step. I've had moments where I was broken, where I wanted to wipe. But every time I felt that pain, I reminded myself, this is proof I'm alive. This is proof I'm moving. This is proof I'm doing something that matters. Because anything that's worth building is going to cost you something. And I refuse to let the pain make me quit. I let it make me hungry. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to flip the pain. You've got to reframe the way you see it. It's not there to stop you. It's there to sharpen you. It's building the grit. It's building the character. It's building the focus. The pain is your personal trainer. And like any good trainer, it's not going to make you comfortable. It's going to make you strong. But here's the thing. You've got to endure long enough to see what the pain was producing. You've got to survive the stretching long enough to see the strength it was giving you. You can't quit halfway through the workout and expect the result. You've got to push until the end. You've got to go through the whole process. And when you do, when you come out of that furnace, you're going to be unrecognizable. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be clearer. You're going to be ready. So stop being surprised by the struggle. Stop being shocked when it hurts. This is the grind. This is the cost. And if you're feeling the pain right now, that means you're right where you need to be. That means you're not playing it safe. That means you're not hiding anymore. You're in it. You're in the fire. You're in the fight. And that's where champions are made. Grind harder because pain is not your punishment. It's your preparation. Everybody wants to talk about grinding, about going all in, about reaching the top, but nobody wants to talk about the price. Nobody wants to talk about the sacrifices. See, people love the idea of success. They love the highlight reel. They love the result. But they don't want to give up the things that are killing their future. They want the dream, but they don't want to pay for it. Let me tell you something. There is no elevation without separation. If you really want to grind harder, you've got to be willing to walk away from what's holding you back. You can't take everybody with you. You can't hold on to every distraction, every toxic habit, every comfort zone, and still expect to climb. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to let some stuff go. You're going to have to make some cuts. And it's not going to feel good, but it's going to be necessary. Because some of the people in your circle, They're not helping you build. They're slowing you down. Some of the habits you keep, they're not harmless. They're eating away at time, your focus, your fire. See, the grind isn't just about what you do. It's about what you give up. It's about what you're willing to walk away from. Are you willing to say no to distractions? Are you willing to shut down the noise? Log off? Lock in and do the work? Because if you're not, then stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you want it when your actions keep choosing comfort over calling. Stop saying you're hungry if you're not willing to fast from the things feeding your weakness. There comes a point where you've got to decide, is the dream more important than the dopamine? Is the mission more valuable than the moment? Is your purpose worth more than your pleasure? And if the answer is yes, then it's time to act like it. It's time to cut the excuses. It's time to clean house. It's time to build boundaries so tight that anything not pushing you forward is locked out. And I get it. It's hard. It's hard to walk away from people you've known for years. It's hard to break habits that gave you temporary comfort. It's hard to silence the noise when everyone else seems to be enjoying it. But hear me, elevation costs isolation. If you want to stand out, you've got to step away. If you want to go where few have gone, you've got to do what few are willing to do. That's not punishment, that's the price. You can't grind harder with dead weight on your back. You can't fly if you're still chained to what's familiar. Sometimes God will call you to walk alone for a season, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because what you're carrying is too heavy for casual company. The vision you've got, the call on your life, it's too serious to let people play with your time, your energy, your mind. You've got to protect it. That means no more letting people guilt you into slowing down. No more letting toxic conversations live rent-free in your head. No more letting people who aren't building anything tear down what you're trying to build. You've got to choose focus over fitting in. You've got to choose purpose over popularity. You've got to choose your future over your feelings. And let me be clear, separation doesn't mean you hate them. It just means you love your destiny more. It means you recognize that not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people were only assigned to your past, not your future. Some habits were only meant to survive the old version of you, not the one you're becoming. You don't owe anyone an apology for evolving. You don't owe anything to the things that kept you small. This is your time to level up, and that means letting go. Let go of the fear that says, what if I end up alone? Let go of the lie that says, I need them to support me. Let go of the insecurity that keeps you clinging to what's comfortable. You don't need everybody to believe in you. You don't need the perfect conditions. You don't need constant applause. What you need is clarity. What you need is conviction. What you need is the courage to say, if this is what it takes, I'm willing. You want to grind harder, then sacrifice louder. Let your discipline speak. Let your absence from foolishness be your protest. Let your boundaries protect your brilliance. You don't need to explain it. Just move different. Just act like the version of you you're becoming already exists because they do. They're on the other side of your sacrifice. You're not just grinding to look good. You're grinding to become good, to become excellent, to become powerful, to become the one. And here's the crazy part. Once you start making those sacrifices, once you start cutting the noise, cutting the comfort, cutting the distractions, you start to feel lighter. You start to move faster. You start to see clearer. And that momentum, that's the reward. That's when you know you're in alignment. Because clarity always follows sacrifice. Fire always falls on the altar. And when you lay your distractions down, when you lay your excuses down, when you lay your old habits down, that's when something new gets activated in you. You don't need more time, you need more focus. You don't need more motivation, you need more separation. The grind demands it. The greatness in you demands it. And it's not a one-time thing. It's a lifestyle. Every day you've got to ask yourself, what am I willing to walk away from to become who I was called to be? Every day you've got to look at your habits, your circle, your thoughts, and trim the fat. You say you want it, then prove it with your time, with your silence, with your separation. Grind harder because the sacrifice today unlocks the success tomorrow. About, let me tell you something real. If you're going to grind harder, if you're going to get to that next level, then you've got to stop underestimating the power of time. Too many people out here moving like they've got forever. Too many people sitting around waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for someone to notice them, someone to validate them, someone to give them permission to go all in. But the truth, time doesn't wait. Life doesn't pause. Opportunities don't just hang around hoping you'll feel ready. You either move or you miss it. You keep saying someday, but someday is a lie. Someday turns into never when you keep putting off. You think you're being patient, but really you're being passive. And while you're waiting, somebody else is working. Somebody else is grinding while you're second guessing. Somebody else is building while you're busy scrolling. And then you look up and wonder why they're ahead. It's not because they're better. It's because they respected the time. They move with urgency. You want to grind harder, then stop acting like time owes you anything. Stop moving like tomorrow is guaranteed. Stop playing small like the clock isn't ticking on your purpose. Because every minute you waste is a minute you don't get back. Every hour you spend on things that don't grow you is an hour of competition spent getting sharper, stronger, smarter. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's real. Time is the most expensive currency you've got. You can make more money. You can't make more time. Let me break it down for you. It's not that your goals are too far off. It's that your grind isn't tight enough. Your schedule isn't focused enough. Your priorities aren't locked in. You're leaking time. Dripping energy into things that don't build. And if you're not intentional, you'll wake up one day with regret in your chain, in your show for the years you let slip away. This is the season to be urgent. This is the season to move like your purpose is on fire. Because it is. You've got a calling, but you're treating it like a hobby. You've got a dream, but you're letting fear and distractions delay it. Listen to me, there's no pause button on destiny. You either pursue it or you postpone it. And every delay is costing you something. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm just waiting until I feel more confident. I'm just trying to get everything perfect. Now, let that go. Progress beats perfection every single time. You don't need all the answers to get started. You just need to get moving. Action creates clarity. Momentum builds belief. You don't wait to feel ready, you move and become ready through the grind. I need you to start honoring your time like it's sacred, like it's not promised, because it's not. You don't get to waste today and then be surprised when tomorrow doesn't look different. Change happens when you start squeezing everything out of every moment. When you treat every day like a step closer to the future you say you want. You've got to become a steward of your time, a guardian of your focus. That means saying no. That means cutting out the small talk, cutting out the binge sessions, cutting out the I'll do it later mindset. That means waking up and attacking the day like it owes you nothing, because it doesn't. And let me say this, urgency doesn't mean rushing. It doesn't mean chaos. It means moving with purpose. It means when you wake up, you're not aimless. You're not scrolling for 30 minutes before you even get out of bed. You got direction. You got fire. You got a why that's so real. It's you out of bed when the motivation's gone. You don't hit snooze. You hit purpose. That's what urgency looks like. You want to know how you measure your hunger? Well, look at your calendar. Look at your routine. Look at what you're doing when nobody's watching. That's the real grind. That's the real proof. And if your schedule isn't reflecting your goals, then don't lie and say you're serious. You can't have championship dreams with recreational habits. You got to structure your life around what you're chasing, not the other way around. And here's the thing, the enemy of greatness isn't always failure. Sometimes it's comfort. Sometimes it's distraction. Sometimes it's the illusion that you've got time. But if you knew how short life really was, if you understood how precious every single moment is, you'd move different. You'd speak different. You'd grind like your future depended on it, because it does. This grind is not about being busy. It's about being effective. You can be moving all day, going nowhere if your grind ain't aligned. So ask yourself, is what I'm doing today building the future I want tomorrow? Is how I'm spending my time reflecting what I say I value? And if the answer is no, then you've got to shift. You've got to course correct. Because success isn't random, it's scheduled. It's earned in the hours nobody sees, through the decisions nobody claps for, in the discipline that doesn't feel good but builds everything. The grind requires that urgency, that awareness, that daily decision to stop wasting time and start owning it. Because the moment you realize your time is limited, your grind gets limitless. You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You stop blaming. You just move. You build. You show up. And you keep showing up until the breakthrough happens, until the door opens, until the dream manifests. So if you're serious about this, stop treating time like it's a game. Stop putting your purpose on lie away. Stop moving like tomorrow's promised and today's optional. This is your season. This is your shot. And the clock is running. Grind harder, because time wasted is greatness delayed. You say you want to grind harder, then let me ask you something. What's driving you? What's pushing you out of bed at 4 a.m.? What's keeping you focused when everything around you is built to distract you? Because if you don't have a why, your grind is weak. Your fire won't last. Your hustle will fizzle out when life punches you in the mouth. See, it's not talent, it's not connections, it's not luck. What separates the ones who make it from the ones who talk about making it is one thing: purpose. You've got to have a reason bigger than your excuses, bigger than your fear, bigger than your comfort. Because when you hit that wall, and trust me, your why is going to break you through it. Your why is what pulls you through the pain. Your why is what holds you together when everything else is falling apart. That's what fuels the grind. That's what keeps you moving when it's cold, when you're tired, when it's been you haven't seen the results yet. You don't keep going because it feels good. You keep going because your why is too deep to quit. So let me ask you again, what's your why? Who are you doing this for? What are you chasing that you refuse to die without? Because if it's just about money, you're going to fold the moment it gets hard. If it's just about proving somebody wrong, you'll stop once they stop watching. But if it's about legacy, if it's about becoming the version of you that you know deep down you were born to be, now we're talking. That's the kind of fuel that doesn't burn out. That's the kind of energy that lasts through hell and high water. See, when you lock into your why, discipline becomes devotion. Sacrifice starts to make sense. And pain becomes part of the plan. It doesn't break you, it builds you. It reminds you that chasing something real, something worth bleeding for, something worth crying over, something worth getting back up for again and again. Because when you've got that kind of purpose inside you, quitting isn't even an option. It's not even in your vocabulary. You've got to make this thing personal. Don't just say you want to succeed, need it. Need it like breath. Need it like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. The people who are watching you silently rooting that are depending on it. You're not grinding just for yourself. You're grinding because there's a generation coming after you that needs to see what it looks like to fight for something, to believe in something, to become something. You're not just building a business, a career, a body, you're building a standard. And when your why is locked in, every setback becomes a setup. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every delay becomes preparation. You stop seeing obstacles and start seeing them as training. You stop crying over closed doors and start building your own. And every time you feel like giving up, you don't ask yourself, is this too hard? You ask yourself, is this worth it? And if the answer is yes, then you keep moving. You grind harder. You dig deeper. You've got to become obsessed with your purpose. Not just interested, obsessed. Obsessed enough to wake up early when everybody else is sleeping. Obsessed enough to study when your friends are partying. Obsessed enough to get rejected, fail, fall flat on your face, and still keep pushing. And let me tell you, obsession gets results. Obsession takes you places talent can't. Obsession silences the doubt. Obsession makes you dangerous. But obsession doesn't start on the outside, it starts in the heart. It starts when you stop lying to yourself about what you really want. When you stop playing small to make other people comfortable. When you stop pretending you're okay with average, you're not. That fire inside you, that restless energy, that's not frustration, that's your purpose calling. And the more you ignore it, the louder it gets. Until one day it wakes you up and you realize, I've been wasting time, I've been distracted. I've been moving like I've got forever, but not anymore, not today. Today you lock in. Today you remember who you are and why you started. Today you let that why fuel every rep, every call, every hour, every decision. You stop grinding for applause and start grinding for impact. Because impact lasts longer than hype. Purpose lasts longer than motivation. And when motivation dies, and it will, it's purpose that'll carry you through. You want to grind harder? Then fall in love with your mission, marry it. Get so connected to it that you don't need reminders, you live it. Every single day, rain, shine, wins, losses, you show up. Because your why is worth it. Because your why is what keeps your heart beating when everything else is screaming quit. Let the world sleep on you. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Because when it's all said and done, they won't remember what you said. You know what they'll remember? That you finished. That you showed up. That you pushed through. That you had every reason to stop, but your why said keep going. Grind harder because your purpose is too powerful to play small.